now that we have our clouds positioned when we run the game, and we also have our player positioned on the first cloud, and we are moving the camera, the next thing that we need to do, and for that I'm going to quickly rerun the game. When I take the main camera and when we go down, when our cloud spawner reaches and touches this last cloud that we have here, we are going to compare this cloud's position with the last cloud y position variable that we have stored in our cloud spawner script. Actually, when we collide with each cloud, we are going to compare his y position with the last cloud y position. If they are equal, then we have the last cloud. After that, we need to recreate or reposition new clouds in order to have more clouds, well, for our player to jump on. So let's get started. Here in our cloud spawner script, we are going to create void on trigger enter. So on trigger, and let me just type that right. So trigger enter 2D, which takes a collider 2D, which I'm going to name target. And here what we are going to check is we are going to see if we collide with the cloud or the dark cloud. So we're going to say if our target, so target.tag is equal to, so target tag is equal to cloud, or if our target, and here I need to rename it because I here type target, it needs to be target, or if our target.tag, so .tag is equal to deadly, meaning if the game object that we have collided with, if it's a cloud or if it's a dark cloud, because even though the dark cloud is going to kill our player, we still need to check if that's the last cloud, then we need to recreate new clouds. So if this is true, if we have touched the cloud or the dark cloud, what we need to do is we need to say if our target dot transform that position y is equal to last cloud position y. And we are saving this variable here in our create clouds function. This right here is where we are saving our last cloud position y. And each iteration of the loop, we are going to save a new value to our last cloud position y. And that way, on the last iteration of the loop, we are going to know which is the last cloud position y that we have here. So now what we are going to do here, first we are going to shuffle our clouds. So we are going to shuffle the clouds, and we are also going to shuffle our collectibles. Even though we still did not add those collectibles, we are going to add them after this because we are shuffling them now, and we are going to shuffle them because, well, we want to create new game objects, which we are going to see a little bit later. Next, what we need to do is we need to create a temporary variable. So vector3 temp is equal to our target.transform.position. And I'm going to copy this line of code because we are going to do the exact same thing here for our x position of our temporary variable. So we are going to check if our control x is equal to 0. We are going to, well, use this random range. If it's equal to 1, then this random range, so on and so forth. We have already explained this in order to randomize the x-axis of our cloud. So this is for our temp x position. And one thing that I forgot, that we actually need to do this in a for loop. So we need to say for int I is equal to 0 as long as I is less than our clouds.length. So clouds.length increment I. And what we need to do now is we need to check if the element, if on our clouds, and the element that's an index I is not active in the hierarchy. And notice here I have added this exclamation mark where I'm testing actually if the element that's at index I is not active in the hierarchy. What this means? Well, if you remember, using our cloud collector, he is going to deactivate each cloud that he touches. And using this function right here, this is going to tell us if that game object is active or not. So we are using this exclamation mark and we are asking if the element that's at index I is not active in the hierarchy, then we are going to set his control X or temp X. Next, what we need to do is we need to say our temp.y minus equal the distance between our clouds, because we want to have that distance between the clouds. And the last thing that we need to do is we need to say our clouds and the element that's at index I transform position is equal to temp. And also we need to activate this game object. So we need to say clouds and the element that's at index I dot set active to be equal to true. And we can test this out. So here, let me just recheck so everything is okay and we are ready to test it. One thing that I've noticed, and sorry for that, before we test this out, we need to reassign the last cloud position y is now equal to temp.y, because now we are subtracting from our temporary position the distance between clouds, and that will be the new last cloud position y, because next time when we check it, well, we need to have this position. So now we are ready to test this out. Now notice when I run the game, and I'm going to go directly in the scene. So our cloud collector is collecting the clouds, which we see here, but notice when our cloud spawner touches this cloud, it's going to respawn new clouds. And you just saw that. So when it touches this dark cloud, it's respawning new clouds. And we see that. So again, it's respawning new clouds. And each time we touch the last cloud, or the cloud that has the last Y position, excuse me, we are going to respawn new clouds. And if we go here, our player has, well, clouds where he can jump on. So we have the clouds here and we cannot jump on the dark cloud. Again, not jumping, but still we are not dying because we did not program that actually. But this is what we are essentially doing. Let me just rerun the game and go up. Let me just search where the camera is. So here. And again, we are going to see when we touch the last cloud, we see that we are respawning new clouds. This is what we essentially did in our code. So we are practically using the same technique in order to reassign our temp x variable, or to randomize it. And simply here we are using our temp.y in order to, well, subtract from a distance between clouds, and then we are reassigning our last cloud position y to this variable, and simply reassigning the position to the cloud here and setting it to be active in the hierarchy. We still have a lot of things to do here. Well, not a lot, but we still have a couple of things that we need to do here. But since we still did not program our player's score, so the coins, the lives, and the score, so on and so forth, we are not going to do that. We are going to go back here. But as I said, this is all for now, and we are going to stop here, and in the next video we are going to see how can we do the same thing that we did with our clouds, but this time with our backgrounds, in order to simulate the infinite background effect.